When it comes to the Forza series, the ability to all-wheel drive swap a vehicle has always been an interesting option. However, sometimes it makes groups of people extremely upset because it makes the game easier. So what we're talking about today is quite possibly the most OP car in the LEGO expansion and possibly close to ever in Horizon 4. Let's talk about it. Insert triggered comment section below. So if you want a car that is ridiculously powerful, ridiculously fast, and you could pretty much beat any car on any difficulty setting, all the clips in this video were on unbeatable. Even if you can't really drive very well, then look no further than an all-wheel drive converted LEGO McLaren Senna. I just realized I was making a Forza video while wearing a Project Cars shirt. This is unacceptable. But moving on, the LEGO McLaren Senna, when converted to all-wheel drive and fully upgraded and fully weight reduced. Pull all the weight out of it. Anyway, when you do all of that, it makes it ridiculously overpowered. Now, that car hasn't even had any fine-tuning, and I'm sure you could make it even faster with fine-tuning, but literally, that car, you could be a, just mediocre Forza driver and throw the difficulty on unbeatable and just spank whatever cars you wanted. Literally. Now, I don't know how well it would do online, but if you're trying to blaze through races, there's your car. And also, if you're talking about trying to get collectibles, I mean, you lift that thing up with rally suspension and boom, you're good to go. Now, when I say you're good to go, I mean, like, you can literally pretty much, you have the suspension travel to go anywhere. You have the suspension travel to jump over the dunes and not roll over all that much. You have the speed to hit the jumps. You have the speed to pretty much 3-star almost any of the danger signs. You can get across the map fast if you're trying to do those time challenges. There's really not a lot to fault about this car in all-wheel drive with, full power and full weight reduction, other than the fact that people will get mad at you for using it. And when I say people will get mad at you for using it, they'll say you're taking the challenge out of the game, this, that, and the other thing. And honestly, I think it's kind of important to have at least one OP car in your garage, just because of the simple fact that other people will use them anyway. I mean, people can go around and say, oh, that's preposterous. Why would you build a car like that? You're ruining the character. You're all-wheel drive swapping a real-wheel drive car. Ah! And then you'll go online and people are using all-wheel drive OP cars anyway. Now, with that being said, do I personally prefer rear-wheel drive? Absolutely, of course I do. But in this particular environment, people will use whatever advantage they can, and this car pretty much enables almost every advantage you could have out of a car on the LEGO map. I mean, this thing literally will pretty much do whatever you want it to do, minus make you breakfast. And it's weird to say, but, I mean, I would even put it up against things like the RJ Pro Truck, because the RJ Pro Truck, while it's immensely powerful and you can all-wheel drive swap it, it's also so much mass moving around. Now, of course, it does have a lot more suspension travel and is more capable off-road than this LEGO Senna, but in a racing sense, the LEGO Senna is pretty dang close because of the fact that the dirt races, I mean, really, there's not all that much of a requirement for massive amounts of suspension travel. You know what I mean? You're not racing in the Baja. So you're racing along like predetermined paths that, yes, there's less grip because they're dirt and gravel and things like that and sand. But this is the big thing. Even on unbeatable difficulty, your tires really don't matter all that much in this thing. I mean, literally, yeah, they're just the standard LEGO tires. You can't swap them out, but it really doesn't matter that much, even when you're in the dirt, which is kind of ridiculous to me. Now, when it comes to setup on this car, it's pretty simple. It's literally maxed out everything. And I know that I can say that in the video, but I also would like to kind of go through it and at least show you guys what all is done. I mean, the engine is fully built. The suspension is rally. I mean, the weight reduction is race. It's very, very, very straightforward to replicate this build. And the reason why I'm showing you guys is because you can tune it if you want to, but you only have to if you're going crazy with it. But even though this thing is very OP when it comes to racing, there is definitely something that I would not suggest it for, and that is Trailblazer. Now, the whole reason why this won't work for Trailblazers at all is because of how low it is. I mean, even with the rally suspension, you'll just get caught on everything. And literally, when I did this Trailblazer, I was just rewinding over and over and over and over. And I'm sure it's possible to get 3 stars on this Trailblazer with this car. However, if you just take the flat out, straightest line that you can, you're not going to do it. No way. Just because of the simple fact that you don't have the suspension travel and the tires aren't big enough to absorb impacts that you might have that might cause you to flip over or the bumper to dig into the ground or whatever. It has no approach and departure angle like you would in an off-road vehicle. So the Trailblazers remain something that this car cannot be OP for. But it did bring up an interesting point because I know that I said earlier that this thing was kind of OP for everything. And while it's OP for most types of racing, it's not OP for, every kind of PR stunt. I mean, it is for a lot, but not for everything. Again, mainly the Trailblazers. And the biggest problem this thing has is water. And, I mean, as you're about to see, literally I had to rewind this over and over and over like a million times just because of the fact that the water immediately pulls this thing to the side. 1, because it's so low, and 2, because there's really nowhere else for the water to go. I mean, one side of the vehicle goes into the water, and it's like, wham, in that direction. Or it's like, boom left, boom right. It immediately just goes whatever direction you even remotely touch the water with. And I don't know where those hand gestures came from, but they're there, and we're going to keep them. So with that being said, you will get some hilarious moments like we have coming up in a minute where you'll get unplanned barrel rolls due to the ride height of this car, because you'll come up to a little rise in the terrain, and honestly, that barrel roll I feel cheated out of because I feel like with the momentum I hit it with, it should have gone all the way over. And it's weird because I tried to angle a little bit more to the left and did a weird 360 twist backflip instead. So I guess there's a happy medium somewhere in there. But I think the suspension travel really is its biggest problem when it comes to Trailblazer events. But again, the responsiveness of the low suspension is what helps it do so well in races, and the all-wheel drive just really eliminates the wheel spin, and the fact that it's so light kind of adds to the picture of why, you have a really light car with a lot of traction and a lot of power, it's going to do well in races. If it can handle well and it has a ton of traction and a lot of power, I mean, that's really your winning formula right there. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not the end-all, be-all, but it is very, very good at certain types of racing, with specifically with those being cross-country and even dirt racing. This thing is really good. Now, it's no, king of dirt racing. I mean, an RS200 will run rings around this car. But for an all-rounder, it's kind of hard to beat, and I think the fact that it is an all-rounder is what sort of puts it into the OP car class, in my opinion, because when you have a car that's this fast and can continue to be this fast, at least sort of in the same realm of this fast, when it goes off the pavement, that's when you're talking about something that's in a little bit of a different league in terms of just how good of a car it actually is. So let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this car, if you've tried this combination, if you think it's overpowered, or if you think that it's just kind of meh, just kind of whatever. But yeah, let me know. I would love to know your feedback on this car in full power, weight reduced, all-wheel drive form, and see if you think that it's as OP as it feels to me. And also, let me know if you think that cars like this, or the ability to make cars like this, imbalance the game at all, or take away from the fun of it at all. Because I think on one hand, I can see how people would think that they take away from the fun if they get, if they put a ton of time into their you know, their build and their tune of a dedicated rear-wheel drive car, and then somebody that's just done basic upgrades and an all-wheel drive swap comes online and beats them. I mean, I can see how that would be frustrating. But at the same time, I don't think it's game-breaking, because if you want to just race rear-wheel drive cars, then you can go and just do rear-wheel drive lobbies with friends. I mean, I do that sometimes. It's actually kind of fun to do because it forces you to build a car a certain way. So again, hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to click that like button. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought of it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for more. This was a little bit different than my normal type of videos, but hey, decided to try something a little bit different out, and if y'all enjoyed it, let me know. But I will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful day. Talk to y'all later.